I'm sorry? Dr. Barton, okay. A little change. We have Dr. Barton Schoenfield. He's a full-time practicing cardiologist, board-certified cardiology and internal medicine. He serves on the executive board of Physicians for Social Responsibility, the New York chapter, and is a member of Citizens Climate Lobby. Let's welcome Dr. Barton Schoenfield. Hope
All right, thank you all very much for having me here, and gee, I really especially want to thank those nurses because, as always, the nurses do most of the work for the doctors, and they already said everything I have to say. But you know, doctors like to talk, and we're going to talk about something. I want to not just these nurses, but you guys are amazing, amazing. It takes a special kind of person, and a person with understanding, person with determination, person with love and compassion to come here and to do what you guys are doing. And all of us, we know all of us are doing what is right and what is needed. Now, I'm a doctor, so I'm just going to talk about things that I know, and I know about health. And I know what fossil fuels and climate change are doing to us. Now, every day I can help one person at a time in my office or in the ICU, but I know that I can save many more lives by standing here and helping by contributing to the transition to a clean energy world. And I'm here because fossil fuels make me sick, all right? Literally, they make me sick, and to make you sick, they make all of us sick. And you know what? They're not an equal opportunity disease. Yeah, they harm all of us, but the less money you have, the more disadvantaged you are, the more likely you are going to get sick because of fossil fuel extraction and transport and storage and use. So let's talk about these oil trains. These trains are massive. They're over 100 cars long, and they carry fracked oil from the Bakken oil fields in Dakota. Now, these super nurses already explained to you how explosive and volatile and flammable this oil is, and they're carried in these cars that aren't designed for the job, and they're easily punctured, and they can spill and cause fires and explosions. But that dangerous blast zone, which is the evacuation zone, is 1 mile around all of those train routes. And this isn't only a health issue, it's a social justice issue, and not just here because it's passing past playgrounds and passing past low-income housing, but it's nationwide, because nationwide, oil trains more often pass through communities of racial minorities and low socioeconomic status. And explosions aren't the only problem with these trains. If they spill, that is really hard to clean up. The spills can contaminate water, and more oil was spilled from trains in 2013 than in the previous 40 years combined. Okay, crude oil can cause cancer and lung disease and has neurotoxic effects. And you know, you think you have cleanup chemicals? Well, guess what? Those cleanup chemicals are toxic. So what's the best solution? Let's not move that oil at all. Let's keep it in the ground. All right? Oil trains aren't the only problem. We're like, the United States is a major producer of natural gas because of the fracking revolution, some revolution. And the more we learn about fracking, the more we know about these overwhelming health problems that it causes. Fracking fluid, flowback water, highly toxic. And it's clearly been shown the contamination of groundwater and aquifers. And we don't even know what poisons the fossil fuel companies are putting into the ground because they call it a trade secret. But we know a lot about what comes back out, and that list of chemicals reads like an industrial horror show. All right, the health problems don't even stop at the well sites. That's just one part. They start at the mines where the silica is produced for the silica sand for the fracking. That causes lung disease and lung cancer. And there are risks of contamination and exposure and leaks and explosions and you name it along every stage of natural gas production and transport and storage and use. And now we're kind of limited for time. I'm just going to give you a quick rundown of these toxins that are involved. There are hydrocarbons, volatile organic compounds, heavy metals, naturally occurring radioactive materials, and that includes radon, which is carried right through those gas pipelines and comes out your gas stove, okay? Fine particulate matter, implicated in heart disease, implicated in cancer, ozone, Diesel exhaust. Now, the diesel exhaust is classified as a carcinogen by the World Health Organization. And you're not even going to be able to guess how many miles of pipeline there are in the United States. There are 2.5 million miles of pipeline in the U.S. There's a compressor station every 50 to 100 miles to keep up that pressure, and those compressor stations pump out a lot of diesel. All right. All right. Now, if that's not bad enough, and that's not bad enough, now, burning all those fossil fuels creates a lot of CO2, and fracking and distributing all that gas leaks incredible amounts of methane. And you know that methane is 80 more times more potent a greenhouse gas than carbon dioxide over a 20-year time frame. Now, we all know that these gases are causing a dramatic change in our climate, but did you know that climate change is bad for our health too? Now, the Lancet Commission, and that's from the world's foremost medical journal, has called climate change the greatest global health issue of this century, all right? I just have a few minutes. We're just going to talk about a couple of these issues. First one is heat, and heat stroke and dehydration happening more and more often. Who are the people going to be affected the most? The people who can't afford air conditioning, can't afford to pay for the power for the air conditioning, people who have to work outside all day. Ozone concentrations are rising because the volatile organic compounds and oxides of nitrogen combined with oxygen and sunlight make ground level ozone, causes asthma, emphysema, bronchitis, increases the risk of heart attack, so insect-borne diseases, spreading. Rising temperatures are allowing the insects to spread over a wider range, better survive the warm winters, and even coming in the future, global food production is expected to fall by mid-century because of changes in weather patterns. This is going to result in higher food prices, and it's going to impact the nutrition and the health of people who can't pay for it, the lower socioeconomic groups, the most. We've got deaths from storms, deaths from flooding, incidents of waterborne diseases because of the torrential rains, overwhelming drainage and sewage systems. This is, I mean, we can stand here, we can go on all day, which we're not going to do. I'm sure you're going to thank me for that. So what's the bottom line of all of this? Fossil fuels are a 19th century technology, people. They came about in a time when we didn't have any other options to power our economy and when we didn't know any better. Well, here's an update. Hey, we're living in the 21st century. We can do better. We will do better. And this is my prescription for our health. We have to beat our fossil fuel addiction. It's time to move on to a clean energy diet, and that's doctor's orders.